Hey there everybody, welcome back to more Rule of Rose. So with 2 out of the 3 books out of the way, Jennifer is slowly regaining more and more of her memory, but we do have one final book left to go. And this time around it will be the Mermaid Princess. The Mermaid Princess's tale is an especially sad one, as you can already tell. But much like the Little Mermaid fable, the Mermaid Princess wishes to fall in love with a human prince, but sadly her love goes unrequited. And it also seems that she is never truly able to get over that unrequited love and decides instead to sit in a cave and slowly wither and die alone. Truly a sad day for the Sea Kingdom indeed. But yet again we find a missing page at the end, and yet again we are going to have to search for that missing page. And let's go ahead and get started on that. So we have our final member of the royal sect of the Aristocrats Club to help out. Seems that the fish is missing. Even though if I was that particular fish, I probably would not want to live in such a dirty aquarium. But there really isn't much else to this particular room. Everything is pretty much bound up tight. So let's go ahead and start exploring. I think the first place we should probably hit up to get some idea of where to go is maybe the nearby gift box. Well, I can definitely understand the distress of the little crying princess. I've never heard of an unmarried mermaid in all my life. But maybe we can figure something out. This airship seems to have a rather peculiar cargo. Maybe there is one laying around somewhere. So it seems that Diane is the most concerned for finding this particular mermaid. No one else seems to think they even exist. Well, it seems this time that Meg and Eleanor are just trying to bait us out into saying something foolish, but one of them seems to have left behind a rather mysterious fish scale. Perhaps one of them already knows the location of this mysterious mermaid. But let's go ahead and have Brown sniff this, and we'll start on our journey to find this mysterious mermaid. Journey though, we do find a new healing item. The candy is a little bit less healing than a lollipop, but a little bit more than a biscuit. Very middle ground. We're just going to go ahead and skip ahead to whenever we run into Mr. Hoffman and what appears to be Clara. Could have sworn we managed to, I assume, kill Mr. Hoffman earlier on in the game. I'm not sure if this is a flashback or maybe what we did was just a hallucination, but on this oddly colored new portion of the ship we find, well, a little sign here. Looks like we might be privy to some undersea play. Well, the lighting certainly gives off a very undersea feel. And as we head down into the vertical tail, it almost sounds like we can hear the bubbling of water. Also, Brown comes to a stop in front of this particular box. We find a new weapon. And rather odd, we also find a fish head. Hopefully this isn't one of Mr. Hoffman's fish that we were supposed to be looking after. But if we take a quick look at the meat cleaver, we can actually see that it specifies that it's a fairly heavy weapon. Actually does quite a bit of damage, but still not that great. But we're going to go ahead and have Brown follow the fish head, since the fish scale is no longer of any use.
Go!
Maybe it'll lead us further into some mysterious undersea kingdom. And what do we have here but fleshless flying fish? This particular airship just continues to get more and more odd the further we explore in. But we have finally happened upon Diane. I just had, sorry for exploring a little bit more, I just had the feeling I was overlooking a particular lollipop, and I think I did earlier. Let's go ahead and talk to Diane. Well, I wonder if she is looking for the mermaid, or if she's actually looking for Mr. Hoffman's fish. Also makes me wonder if we should actually tell her about that fish head we found earlier. has found another rather odd item. Seems to be the lower portions of a doll. Seems rather odd that we found the upper portions of a fish and now the lower portions of a human doll. But I guess we should go ahead and have Brown search for that.
Go.
Especially along these almost maze-like walkways that seem to be attached to the balloons holding up the airship. And we happen into what looks like a fairly nasty, numerous ambush. Actually has a new enemy type in there. Those are fish imps, and it is really best to ignore them. They can easily be knocked over just by running into them, but their main form of attack is to actually flop around on the ground, which, well, ends up juggling you and hurting you quite profusely. Thankfully, we do have a new weapon, the Master Tuna. It's actually a pretty powerful weapon, as all the extra weapons are. And before we continue where Brown obviously went, we do have to get another gold knife, and this one is yet again particularly hard to find, mostly due to the fact that the trigger is not fairly obvious. By continuing on the walkways, we happen upon another dead end, but upon walking down that particular direction, we find that as we backtrack along, well, there is another large ambush waiting for us. And in that ambush is another bag-headed imp carrying another gold knife. If at all possible, you do want to try to drag it away from the rest of the group, because really the fish enemies are some of the most annoying in the game. Especially when they get on the ground, they become incredibly difficult to hit. But with our new golden knife, we can now head back to that door that Brown was barking at. As we look at it, it seems to be called the Mermaid Room. This is bound to be the place where that mermaid is. Well, that definitely doesn't look like a mermaid. Now, before we continue on in there, I just wanted to double check to make sure I had plenty of healing items. I just get the feeling that whatever is in this room is definitely going to be something dangerous. And say hello to the boss of this particular chapter, the aforementioned Mermaid Princess. This fight is probably the most annoying and tedious fight in the entire game. As you can tell, well, the Mermaid Princess will drop from the ceiling at more random points, sometimes dropping directly on you, spraying vomit, lashing out, knocking you down on your butt. And, well, you only really have the opportunity to hit the Mermaid Princess once or twice before she retracts into the ceiling. And, well, I decided to speed up this particular fight, mostly due to, even with a strong weapon, you're still going to have to hit her about 30 odd times. Couple that with the fact that the vomit attack she does has the chance to juggle about 3/4 of your life away, and that her melee attack does about 1/10 of your overall health. This particular fight is especially annoying, especially keeping in mind the fact that she has yet again very odd and difficult to see invincibility frames. I think we almost have her. You're supposed to be able to tell how much health she has left by how much she is vomiting, but really there's no easy way to discern. And also, as you may expect, Brown is pretty much useless in this fight.
What in blazes? Just who did this? Who made this mess? Was it you? Go on, tell me. Answer me, Diana. No new mummy or daddy will ever want you if you don't like that. No, I won't be angry. Just answer me. It was you, wasn't it? You were in charge after all.
Yuck! How disgusting. Ugh. Oh, now I see. It was you. It was your fault that I got into trouble. Give it here. Oh my, I see a stain. I've got to clean it up, or Mr. Hoffman will be angry with me.
And yet again, Jennifer is blamed unjustly. But then again, so was Diane. It seemed to be all Meg and Eleanor's fault. But hidden away in that rather odd doll we saw is actually another slip of paper. And as one can assume, this is yet again the final sheet in that story, The Mermaid Princess, we found earlier. So for this final story, let's just flip to the final page and see what the moral is.